Shalom, giving all praise to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation as always to the elect. And I just wanted to bring out some excerpts from this book entitled Russian Icons of the 14th and 16th Centuries, in which when you go into this book, what you'll come to see is that the images of the saints, okay, are dark, okay, dark-skinned people. And this is in Russia, all right? And I have a book called Nature Knows No Color Line that's going to further expound on a lot of these things, okay? And all of these images are hidden in after the Renaissance period, which we'll go into in prophecy. These images were covered up, and the so-called white images of the saints were then put up, okay? Now, I'm going to start here in Revelation, the 20th chapter, in the first verse, all right? Because this is all actual prophecy. And see, what's happening is the truth is coming out, which is why you have this big push from these devils to get a hold of this word, label it, terrorism, link it to terrorism, so that they can ban it, which according to prophecy, it will be banned in these streets and on the internet. But the truth will never stop. And ultimately, biblical prophecy will eventually overtake you devils, which it already is, which is why you're moving to try and demonize us, because this truth is the testimony that's going to lead to your life sentence and eventually death, the death penalty, okay? And it's going to be sanctioned by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and the holy angels. And once we get our power, the 144,000 and all Israel, all right, will be the judges of the earth. And how will we judge? We'll judge based upon the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible. And you devils have broken every law in the Bible, okay? As well as the rest of you heathen. Now, this is Revelation 20:1. It says, "And I saw an angel," and bear with me because I got a few books, so it's going to be a little scattered, but I'll bring the information out, Lord willing, through the Spirit. "And I saw an angel come down from heaven," all right, which that's Yahweh Shai, "having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand." And that was that region of the earth over in Europe, all right, in which the Lord had these Edomites put into captivity, okay? And now you see that these Edomites are bringing this history out. See, it's not taught in school that you so-called Negroes once ruled Europe, Spain, Portugal, and all of these various different places, okay? That you had noble families, that you have a history. But now that their history is coming out, they want to bring up, well, the Moors, the Moors had us in slavery. Well, why isn't that taught in school? Okay? Revelation 20:1. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And what did he do with that chain? And laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil. Now, when you read Revelation, the 12th chapter, okay, Revelation, the 12th chapter, real quick, let me get that. Revelation, the 12th chapter, in the 3rd verse, it says, "And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head, and his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven," which was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi at that time in history, which was the Roman Empire, okay? So that great red dragon is the ancient Roman Empire, okay? It started as a serpent in a garden and has grown to a 7-headed dragon with 10 horns. But that red dragon, okay, is Esau, Edom, and ultimately the Roman Empire, because as you read down, it says, "And drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast him to the earth," meaning we were in captivity. All right. Judea was a vassal to the Roman Empire at this time. All right. "And stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born." Okay. And that woman is the nation of Israel. Okay. And what happened when Yahweh Shai was born? Okay. Herod, they tried to find him and put him to death. And they put to death a lot of the Israelite children at that time. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations, which is Yahushai, with the rod of iron, and her child was caught up with God into his throne. So right here is letting you know that that red dragon was the Roman Empire, because what empire was in power and rulership at the time that Yahushua was born? The Roman Empire. Okay, so going back to Revelation, the 20th chapter. Okay, and this Bible is all sorts of messed up. It says, and laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. You see that? For a period of 1,000 years, when you go into history, these devils were no people, man. They were put down. They were cast down. And see, during that 1,000-year period, these images were put up because the saints, all right, which were Israelites, so-called Negroes, okay, were ruling, man. They were ruling. Okay, and our images went up. And we'll show you in more history as well, man. Okay? And cast him into the bottomless pit. He was shut up. He was basically chased into the caves. As it says in Job, he was chased as a thief, you see? And cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him, meaning he couldn't rule, he wouldn't be able to do anything until the Lord took that seal up off of him. Just like right now, we can't take position and try to rule before Yahushua returns. There's a seal on us. We can't rule or do anything until prophecy is fulfilled. Okay, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him. All right, that's when they were cavemen, that he should deceive the nations no more. All right, till the 1,000 years be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. So I have a little history here, real quick. I printed this off of a history website. It says the Byzantine Empire, and that was the name of this 1,000-year period, okay, was a vast and powerful civilization with origins that can be traced to 330 AD, okay, when the Roman Emperor Constantine was a so-called black man, all right, dedicated a new Rome, okay, known as the Holy Roman Empire. Although they were going off and linking a lot to paganism, they were our people, okay? It says, on the site of the ancient Greek colony of Byzantium, okay? Now, there's a lot of brothers say that word means backwards, and I've tried to look up the origin of it, but I can't find it. What I did find is that name meant buck or ox, you know? So, Lord will, we a brother who knows that history of that, you know, word Byzantium and how it's linked to backwards. But they call it the Dark Ages. Now, why was it called the Dark Ages? Because dark people ruled, man. And Esau tell you, well, they're for those 1,000-year periods, we don't know what was going on. Because we were ruling, man, our people. And it wasn't all righteousness, but the civilizations weren't as backwards as this Western civilization, man. They added a lot. All right, mathematics, art, arithmetic, music. Okay, all go back to our people, man. Okay, in that time frame, it says, though the western half of the Roman Empire, crumbled and fell in 476 AD, the eastern half survived for 1,000 more years, spawning a rich tradition of art, literature, and learning, and serving as a military buffer between Europe and Asia. The Byzantine Empire finally fell in 1453 after the Ottoman army stumped Constantinople, all right, during the reign of Constantine, I believe the 6th. So that links right up with biblical prophecy. As you can see here, this empire lasted 1,000 years, okay? And let's read this again. And I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit in a great chain. What was that chain for? Slavery. Okay, so the Lord put the spirit on the Israelites to enslave you Edomites. Okay, and it says, and laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Now, is that an actual dragon or is that symbolic? That's symbolic of the Edomites, man. Okay, they're that old serpent. The spirit of the serpent is in them, just as it was in Cain. They're the biblical Edomites, man. Okay, they're the devil. They're the deceivers. They're the adversary to righteousness, to the Israelites, to the Most High and his son. Okay, through Satan. It says, and bound him 1,000 years. Okay, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. So in this chapter, if you understand this chapter, you jump down because it talks about another 1,000-year period when we actually have the kingdom. But you have to have ears to hear and eyes to see. This is speaking of the first resurrection, which is when the Messiah returns and the 144,000 and under him rule and set up the kingdom of heaven on earth. Okay. Verse 3 should be followed in this chapter with verse 7. Okay. That's linked to that 1,000-year period. See, prophecy is written to trip people up, but the elect have the key. All right. The house of David have the key. The 144,000 have that new song. Lord willing, I and you brothers who are teaching this word in sincerity and truth are a part of that number. Verse 7, and when 1,000 years were expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. So after the 1,000-year period, as the scripture said, as this said, you had 1453. It was around when the Renaissance period started. Okay. And you see from darkness to light, the Renaissance begins. Now, before this, we'll show you this. Before this period, these are the images that were up, man. Okay. And there's various of these images, man. Various of these images, man, of our people ruling, man. Okay. Of our people being painted as the saints. Okay. Some of them are darker than others. Okay. Some of them are darker than others. But as you can see, the raising of Lazarus, you know, these are so-called black people. Okay. So-called black people. Now, as you keep going, there's some other icons I wanted to show you all. Now, if you type in, church fathers and early, icons of the saints on Google, white images are going to come up because of that prophecy that we're getting ready to read. You can see here, so-called black people, man. Okay, this is in Russia. And I'll show you in that book. I have another book real quick. Something as well, Let's see here. That's St. Nicholas. Where that whole St. Nick, tale came from, right? That was an actual man who was rich and he used to give gifts. That's the original St. Nick right there, the Virgin Mary. Although and our forefathers weren't righteous when they were ruling, it wasn't all the way righteous, but it just, why is this history hidden? Now, here's something I wanted to show you. This is, the Virgin Mary and her son, which is based upon Semiramis and Tammuz. But to show you something in this book, this is called Nature Knows No Color Line. All right, by J.A. Rogers. I'll just read this one part. It says, moreover, the early Christians pictured the Virgin Mary in what it says Christ as black, both being an evolution of the worship of Isis and Horus, which was once common in Rome. You see, but they worship the black images. Okay, they worship black images, man. And in this book, it also shows you. See here. Let's see here. See if I can get some more real quick. Basically, Negroes from ancient Greece. Okay. Negroes in ancient Greece. That's a picture. And this is a good book, man. It has some good history. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Yeah, there we go. And these are basically different noble families and coat of arms and and that's in Europe, Russia, Germany, all these various different places. It's French, Dutch, Belgian families, These are all our people that were ruling for that 1,000-year period. You see? Right along with prophecy. Right along with prophecy, man. Okay? German. These are so-called Negroes. Okay? And we have more icons as well that Lord willing will bring out just to, bring the truth out, man. Coats of arms. In the Pope, if you look closely at some of his coats of arms, they're so-called black people, man. Okay? Black Madonna. And I believe this woman is somehow related to King James, but I forget, a brother who understands their history. Queen Charlotte, Sophia, as well. Negroes in coats of arms. This is during that 1,000-year period, man. And this is history that they've been hiding from you. Okay, more. And Salakia, I'm trying to get through it. But, let's see here. Yeah, there was one I was reading as well. I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Russia was something I was reading where in Russia, they basically told you that, let's see, the Jews were black. They told you that the Jews were black. This is in Russia, Okay, let's see here. Yep, the Eastern Jews who settled in Austria, Poland, and Russia were Negroid. See that? Jews, Negroid. Okay? Visited Jamaica, saw the descendants of these Jews and say that they were Negroid. And this is all documented history, man. This is all documented history. And these are Jakes, man. Offspring of Negro fathers and white mothers. You see that? Now, eventually on down the line, they're eventually going to start looking white, But going back into the prophecy, verse 7 again, Revelation 20:7. And when the 1,000 years were expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations. So let's get this Renaissance. Renaissance, which means rebirth, was the fervent period of Eastern cultural, artistic, political, and economic rebirth. Where was it at? Why did it have to be reborn? What place did it take? What was before it? Okay, we see what was before it, man. Dark images, okay, of the original people, man. Although they were going off, okay, following the Middle Ages, generally described as taking place from the 14th century to the 17th century, as we just read, okay. The Byzantine Empire pretty much fell, and you had the bubonic and bubonic plague and all of that thing that attributed to it, infighting and certain different things. Ultimately, it was just prophecy, but it says 1453. And you had what's known as the Medici family and all of these various different Edomite doctrines take precedence on the earth, man. Okay, it says the Renaissance promoted the rediscovery of classical philosophy, humanism, all of these different Edomite things, literature and art. Literature and art. Some of the greatest thinkers, authors, and statesmen, scientists, and artists in human history thrived during this era because what did they do? They painted over the real images, man. Okay, even in this book, you'll see some of the images start to lighten up. See? Let's see here. But these are still dark, but let's see here. Look at that. These are so-called black men, okay? Saint Gregory, basically the early church fathers, man. But after that period, what did it say here? It said it went from darkness to light. The Renaissance is credited with bringing the wide gap of the Middle Ages in modern day civilization. From darkness to light. During the Middle Ages, a period that took place between the fall of ancient Rome, 476 AD, and the beginning of the 14th century, Europeans made few advances in science and art. So they'll say, nothing really was advanced at that time. They say everything pretty much was dead. It didn't advance into the 14th century when the Edomites came out of that enslavement. Also known as the Dark Ages, this era is often branded as a time of war, ignorance, famine, and pandemics such as the Black Death. Why the black? Dark, black. Some historians, however, believe that the grim depictions of the Middle Ages were greatly exaggerated. See, this is exaggerated. But the white images are the right, the right way. This man is the devil, man. Though many agree that there were relatively little regard for any ancient and Greek Roman philosophies and learning at the time. So nothing went good at this time. Just black death, backwards behavior, ignorance, and war. Why is that? Because dark people were ruling, man. They had the true images of the Messiah, of the early church fathers, of the disciples, and everything else. And then this is when humanism and all of this bullshit started to flourish. Although it was bullshit flourishing at the time that Jake was ruling, but more bullshit, okay? And to this point, leading into World War III is where we at. During the 14th century, a cultural movement called humanism began, to gain momentum, all right? Here it is. They painted themselves as the Messiah and all of the disciples, but they didn't follow with the philosophy, okay? The laws or anything, man. Not that Jake was, but still, okay? You devils are hypocrites, man. Humanism promotes the idea that man was the center of his own universe. And basically, this is a godless nation, and they promoted ungodly behavior up until this day. And there's more. You got the Medici family, which is where the a form of fractional reserve banking started. And then you had the Borgia family and so many more things. But these are Russian icons, right? Now, let's go back here. Revelation 20:7. And when 1,000 years were expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations in one of the ways of deception, the philosophies, but also taking down the art, which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, because that's how his rulership will be ultimately ended, through Gog and Magog. And during this time, what did he do? He uncovered the faces of the true judges, man. Let's get that in the book of Job. Job chapter 9. Job chapter 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not, wherein who is he? So he covered the faces of the true judges thereof. Who are the true judges of the earth, man? Let's get a precept here in 1 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. Because they covered the true faces of the judges. 1 Corinthians 6 and 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And And if the world be judged by you, are ye not unworthy to judge the smallest matters? So the saints are going to judge the world. Who are the saints? So let's see if we can get, I know it's one in Psalms. Let's just get the easiest one. Psalms 50:5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. And we understand that that's the Israelites, man. Okay, as it says in Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to work with one hand, but it's going down. Spirit is flowing. All right. As long as the edification goes out, we good. Be ye instructed, ye sons of the earth. Break them in. Yep. Psalms 2:10. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth. And the judges of the earth are ultimately the 144,000 under Yahushua, man. And we're being instructed right now via the Holy Spirit. But the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, meaning his promise, okay, his blessing would take place. And what would he do? He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. And how would he cover the faces of the judges? Hey, it happened even in the time of Maccabees. Let's get 1 Maccabees real quick. I'm going to set that right there. Hold up. Let me get 1 Maccabees. Hold up. Maccabees. 1 Maccabees 3. And this ain't the first time they did that. 1 Maccabees 3:48. This is when the heathen took down the temple. Okay? The Greeks, the Edomites. And the original Greeks ain't so-called white people. They're dark-skinned people. They're not Israelites, but the original Greeks were Japhetic people, man. So they've covered every nation's face, man. All of the dark nations, man. But we're concerned with the Israelites. 1 Maccabees 3:48, and laid open the book of the law, in wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. The heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images, which is where you get the white image of the Messiah and all of these various different things, man, that they lying about, man. 2 Esdras 6:28. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And that's where we are in prophecy. The truth is being declared, man. Okay? The truth is eating you devils up, which is why you're trying to move with so much fervency to paint us as terrorists, because truth is terroristic in the time that lies reign, man. Okay? Let's see here. And there's another one. Let's see here. Let's see here. There's another one. 15. Yep, Wisdom of Solomon 15 and 4. For neither did the mischievous inventions of men deceive us, nor an image spotted with diverse colors, the painter's fruitless labor. Okay? The sight whereof enticeth fools to lust after it, and so they desire to form a dead image that had no breath, man. And that's these basically what they did with the true images of the true judges of the earth, which are the Israelites, man, whom the Lord made a covenant with. So, I just wanted to bring that out. As you can see here, that's Russian icons. Some very good information in here. You can get the book, and look it up. Yeah, some of the wider images, there you go, start to pop up after time. The so-called Virgin Mary and the Son eventually get lighter, but as you can see, there were times or they were darker. And the other book was Nature Knows No Color Line by J.A. Rogers. Hopefully y'all edified. Give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakwadash. Double honors as always to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the elect. Shalom.